Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone, and season's greeting. Merry Christmas to everyone who's celebrating, and congratulations on the birth anniversary of Quaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, for everyone who's celebrating. Uh, so it is a lovely day today, and I believe that being in a Toastmasters meeting is the best way to celebrate any occasion. And I declare this meeting open. As is customary, we will go through some of the protocols. The first is that we avoid talking about sex, religion, and politics, especially if it is with a view to offend someone or to bring down any community. Uh, Secondly, we encourage everyone to turn on their videos if they can, and turn their sound off unless it's their turn to speak. So with that, I hand over the charge now to our Honorable President, DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, our lovely Vice President, with the cap of Vice President, but he is actually the District Director for District 122. And fellow Toastmasters, the season's greeting and Merry Christmas and congratulations, as said by Talha, DTM Talha, about the Quaid-e-Azam, and is a birthday of the Newtons, and it's a web launching date, and so many other things on the same time. So let's move. It's a chill, and it's a time to just consolidate ourselves. It's a meeting of Quantum Leap. Is the last meeting of 2021. And the next time when we are going to meet, we have the New Year's, new time, new day, and lovely weather. So it's a time for us to just go back to the year 2021, what we planned for it and what we achieved it, and what is the gap between our target. So if we accountable ourselves that what we achieve as per our plan, so it will give a true picture that we should not have to repeat the same thing again. We might have different things and different approach for the new goals and the new approach. I read one article in one of the magazine. They said about it, if you want to achieve anything in your life, you must have to write it down. If you will write it down, it will help you to plan it. Once it is passed through the planning, it is making you make a small milestone to achieve it. But your goal must be the higher goal, the highest goal, the big goals. But you slice it in such a way that for each slice, you can celebrate. It's a time for us, remaining for 5-6 days, we have it. We have to put our thought together, mind together, soul together, what we are going to achieve in 2022. And hope the entire world will get rid of this corona and we back to our normal life, inshallah, by the grace of Allah. Since the Secretary Saad Shoaib is here, Saad, do you have a minutes of meeting ready for the last meeting? Please, fellow Toastmaster, please put your hand together, welcoming our energetic Secretary Saad. Over to you, Saad.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. So the last meeting was the meeting number 2 of this amazing club. We had amazing segments. The best prepared speaker went to Toastmaster Muniba. The best table topic evaluator went to a Toastmaster, a, a Toastmaster and Muri. The best evaluator went to Toastmaster Erum Rizvi, and the best of big three, according to your votes, went to me, Toastmaster Saab. So that's about it. That's about it. Over to you, Toastmaster Saab.
Toastmaster, is any addition, deletions, or amendment in the minutes of meeting? If none, the minutes of meeting adopted as a true record of the club. I have one observation that SR said about the last meeting was the second meeting. And in the sequence, we have the sixth meeting. I personally feel we should have the sixth one instead of we are going to confuse ourselves pre-charter and the post-charter. So the day we started our meeting, that was our first meeting. And today, our meeting in sequence is the sixth meeting, and the next will be the seventh, not the third one. So we'll continue as per our meeting started. If anyone having any concern, please. So today we have the sixth meeting. Very good. Any other business? If none, I have one thing to open, that since it's a contest season is on, the club levels, then the area division and district and ultimate at the international level. Do we have to have our club level contest?
We can certainly have it, sir. We can certainly have it now that we are chartered and we are in good standing. So there's nothing stopping us from having our contest.
So my question is that, do we have to have a contest or not? No one is going to stop us.
Yeah, okay. No, we don't. No club has to have a contest. It's not compulsory for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in our case, since we have the diversity of the countries in this club, and we have the members from the United States and Singapore and UAE, India, and the Pakistan. So again, my question is that if we are planning to have our contest, so we have to think about it, how we are going to proceed. Since our club is fall in District 122.
Yes.
So a winner will proceed in District 122.
Exactly.
It's an open debate. Anyone can input anything.
Yes, you're right. But since in addition to what you mentioned, that we have people from so many countries, but we all of our members are dual members, right? So they're already members of some other club or some other area or district. And as we all know, one cannot compete from more than one area across the globe. That limitation applies across the globe. So if anybody is competing from Quantum Leap and the contest happens and they move over to the area level, that means that they cannot participate at their home club in their home district. So yeah, that's one potential drawback that can come. And of course, yeah, timely reminder, DTM Swarna. Of course, unfortunately, that's also a limitation that we have.
Anyone else having input to this subject? By the way, I'm also out from the contest. I'm not eligible for the contest also as the DTM Talha.
Since we're talking about contest, I think we can see in our club those who have been winning, but they are not just normal members. Maybe we can ask them to go direct to the area contest, because we have already seen them do well in our club. But they're not holding any district role, and they are from 122. I think they should be able to go further.
So
That is
it's
I
mean
think-
what I understand from Swarna, DTM Swarna, that the club is going to nominate their representative to the area.
That is one option, instead of having a contest in the club, which means that we have to arrange for resources to have everything like a normal contest, whether it's area or club, there's going to be a lot of resources that we need to do. Alternatively, we can see who is keen to go to the contest. And if they are not in the other club, they can try in our club. They can represent our club. And I think if I look at our members from outside of Pakistan, most of us, I think, have some role or the other, right? Is that correct? We seem to be district officers or area officers or something like that we seem to have. So we are out of it anyway. So let's look at someone from 122, and if they are keen to represent quantum, I think we should just go ahead and do that.
So in this case, I request DTM Talha to send one questionnaire to all the
Yes.
members. Do we have to we are going to conduct the contest or not?
Okay.
So if they say we are going to have the contest, then we'll make the announcement. And I think at the end of January, we have to finish our contest if we are going to have it. Otherwise, the representative is going to represent our club at area level.
Yes, in fact, our area director is also here, Toastmaster Erum Rizvi. Toastmaster Erum, can you add to it, especially about the timings of the contests, by which time we should have our contests?
I think area director Erum might taking the tea like me. I have the tea now.
Yeah. Okay, that there are 5 different contests, 4 English ones and 1 Urdu one. So that are sanctioned by the district. So do we send, if we do decide to have a contest, then perhaps we can have 1 or 2 maybe, and we send nominations for the rest. So DTM sir, what do you advise? Should I circulate this questionnaire for all the sanctioned contests, or maybe just the international speech contest?
I think we must have to focus only for one contest, that is international speech contest.
Okay.
That will go from the club to the district level.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I will do that, sir.
Otherwise, we'll just give the nomination from our club who is going to represent at area contest. And area fall under the Toastmaster Erum Rizvi area.
Yes.
Regardless the member from which part of the world.
Yes, exactly. There's also one more wrinkle to it, and that is that's something that I learned recently. It is that a member's jurisdiction in terms of applicability of rules. For example, we have slightly different rules by virtue of being a territorial council, right, and not a full-fledged district. But World Headquarters considers a member's address as their primary district. So even if they are a member of Quantum Leap, for all intents and purposes, they're also a member of District 122. But in terms of, for example, certain criteria, certain rules, they will be considered a member of their home district rather than District 122, since their membership address is lying with that district. So I just thought that I would add this.
Yes, absolutely, you're right. But there is one more condition of that one. If they are member of that particular district, if they are not a member of that particular district, then they will fall under the District 122.
Exactly. And in fact, they still do fall. And the way I learned it was that if somebody wanted to actually go for a distinguished Toastmaster who is actually a member of a US-based club, and they reside in the US, and they were told by world headquarters that no, actually you will have to, like, since your address is with the US based district, all the requirements, including the serving of a district leadership role for 1 year, that apply to you, even if you are applying from District 122. The governing thing is your address. So yes, you're right. So if they, and as long as they're a member in good standing of their own district, that is applicable to them.
Fantastic. Let's move to, is any other business? If none, let's go to our business sessions, move to our business session. And the person who is going to lead as a Toastmaster of the day, as I said earlier, he is energetic, charming, and always a dashing personality. Toastmaster Saad Shoaib, please put your hand together to welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Saad Shoaib.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Seth, for that, for those words, for those kind words, which I'm not worthy of, but but thank you very much nonetheless. Fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, and also the geeks of the world, welcome to another meeting of this prestigious and unique club, the Quantum Leap. The theme of the meeting is actually a thing we learned way back, but it was enhanced in the year 2000 2020, because once upon a time we used to send ravens to actually deliver messages from one person to another, and then after that we actually send letters to actually communicate with one another. But now we have the whole world in our hands, just because of this thing. We have so many avenues to actually communicate with a person who might be anywhere in the globe. So that has made the world an actual global village. And the best example of this one is wow, surprise, the Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club, because we have members from all around the globe who meet and contribute to making this club better and bigger than the last meeting. And the trend will actually continue right now, because we have an amazing lineup of speakers, evaluators, and so on. But to run this wonderful meeting, you can't actually count on me alone, because I need help. So for that, we have some amazing amazing role players to run the meeting. So first, I would like to call the language evaluator, the champion, Toastmaster Anam Kadri, for the role to explain her role. So over to you, Toastmaster Anam.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Saad. Good morning, and I don't know, I'm sorry, that how many places do we have morning over here? In how many places, especially when we are joining Quantum Leap? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, being the grammarian today, the word of the day is joy. The word of the day is joy. And today my responsibility is to look for any good grammatical or wrong grammatical usage of phrases, idioms, words, point it out without pointing out the name of the member, and to highlight any good phrases or idioms that you'll be using throughout the meeting. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Sam.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anam. So I will also have a joyous meeting as well. So the next role will be the only person who will actually put every speaker on his toes. Toastmaster Usama Ali for the role of the timer. So over to you, Toastmaster Usama.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Saad Shoaib, for handing over the stage. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcomed guests, today I am the timer of the meeting, and as a timer, I will be timing your speeches, your table topics, and your evaluations. You can see my screen that the background is of the time, and I will be changing my backgrounds from time to time. Like you can see right now, it has become green. First of all, it will be green, and then it will be yellow, and then at the end it will be red. At the red, it means that you have to end your speech in 30 seconds. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Usama. So as the VP Education said, we are dropping the R counters role. So thank God for most of us. No one will be actually counting our R's and Ums. Now comes the speciality of Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club and innovation, the role of the Geek of the Week. And today, no surprise to everyone, because we all know what a big geek he is. The geek he is. Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid is the geek of the week. So over to you, Toastmaster Talha.
Thank you so much, everyone. And today, this being a joyous occasion, it would do us well if we do remember where we are and where we should be and what we should be doing. So in jarring contrast to the tone that we would like to have today, which is of happiness, of joy, of celebration, I would like to issue a wake-up call. And why would I like to do that? Because what I'm about to share is something that had a profound impact on me.
I think we've lost. We've lost Toastmaster Talha. Let's wait for a while. He's stuck in a very nice pose, laughing and all.
Yeah, maybe we should take a screenshot of this.
Good idea. Toastmaster Talha has left the meeting. So, Toastmaster Saf, can we move on?
Yes, please.
Or we can? Okay. Okay. So, uh, so, uh, 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 unfortunately, we can't listen to our Geek of the Week. Now let's move on to being to a keynote speech which will absolutely joy us all. And the speaker is an experienced Toastmaster. She is a mother. She is a self sufficient. She is a professional woman, community volunteer, a conscious a citizen, a speaker, a trainer, a cross-culture awareness. She like to I like to express her views about cross-culture awareness for diversity and inclusion, and so on and so forth. And the list goes on and on and on. The accolade goes on and on and on. But we know her as a member of Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club, and we are honored to have her as a keynote speaker. So, a DTM Swarna, your internal GPS, a DTM Swarna. Over to you.
Fabulous greetings today. Joyous Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you, whoever is celebrating. And of course, there's no reason why we should be happy and joyful on any day of the year. Today, for my keynote address, I have with me DTM Sudarshan, who is going to do, we are going to do it more like an interview session, where it's going to be like maybe a chit chat with our members here to know my journey so far and how I would like to take it forward and how we can work together. Yeah, so I'd like to invite our DTM Sudarshan on stage as well. So can you just spotlight him?
Yeah, I am spotlighted.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's start off.
Let us indeed. Thank you. Normally, it is the host of the interview that does the introduction of the guest. We are Quantum Leap, so we never follow the norms, do we? We always challenge the status quo, and today the guest has introduced the host. But I will be remiss if I do not take my task as the host of this interview and walk you all through what is going to transpire over the next 18 to 20 minutes. They say the lotus flower is one that has multiple layers. The more you open it, the more you find beauty in it. And our guest today is nothing short of that. Our guest is going to speak on something called the internal GPS. But if Google had failed to introduce Google Maps, if Waze had not created its own GPS, we could have all turned around and looked at Swarna and said, please show us the way. And she would have very easily navigated us to where we need to, because that's her passion. Today, we are going to attempt to try and understand what makes Swarna herself. But before we start, the only thing I would like to say is that In the Western world, it is said diamonds are a girl's best friend. In the Indian subcontinent, it is not diamonds. It's actually gold. And she personifies gold because her name literally means gold. So let's understand what makes her so precious. So good morning and welcome to this beautiful session at Quantum Leap Toastmasters, Swarna. And let's get cracking.
Did we lose him now?
Yes, we did.
I think, yeah,
Oh, okay.
internet is acting up today.
Because we are going to talk about the GPS and it is totally depending on the internet.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know. Today, the gods of Zoom have decided to trouble me and Talha. So I guess it's going to happen.
I know.
So where did you
That's
miss me? You heard my question, right?
No, we lost you as you were just ending the.
Okay, sure. So the first question is your origin story. First question is all about where did it all start? Why were you named Swarna? Where did you start your life with? And what were one or two major influences in those days which set you on this path to discover your inner GPS? Over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, origin of my story, quite interesting. I was, my earlier days were in a place called Kolar Goldfields, which is close to Bangalore in India. And I think currently, of course, the mines is shut, but it was the mine where gold was found. And because I was born there, my parents thought that maybe naming me Swarna would be very appropriate. And that's how I got my name Swarna, which means in Sanskrit means gold. Yeah. And that is where I started. Kolar Goldfields is a very, very small town, except for the mines, the miners, and of course the officers who lived around there. Nothing else happened there. So we had a couple of schools, and that was our world, going around the mines, a lot of mining shafts around the town, very little entertainment. So that is how my first 16 years of my life went at Kolar Goldfields. Then we moved to Bangalore, and I did my engineering in Bangalore and worked there for 3 years before getting married. So that with marriage, I became a globetrotter along with my husband, following my husband wherever he went. So we were in Malaysia for about 8 years, US for about 3 years, and came to Singapore in 2022. 2002. Yeah. So 2002, we moved to Singapore, and we had our daughter in 2000. So at that point, I said that I wasn't prepared to move anymore because of schooling and whatever, I said this is going to be too much. Although moving around gave us a lot of exposure, built me as a person, I would say, of acceptance, of finding my true identity and being who I am. So a lot of things a lot of challenges, right? When you come from a very conservative society, then move around, you are not able to identify especially as a woman, to like, what do you want to retain as you are? What is it that you want to retain, and how do you retain it? Because the challenge is always trying to, people expect you to accommodate, become assimilated. They say the saying, like, be a Greek in Rome, right? I mean, that sort of a thing. Is it required? These are the questions that came up with me. And now, after so many years of thing, I've come to a point that I am who I am, And I would love for people to accept me and my beliefs as I am, and I accept everyone else's belief and who they are. And that is, I think, where the diversity and inclusion comes. And so this is
Great.
my journey so far. I'm 51 years old.
Fantastic.
So this is...
Fantastic. So you've given me a lot of input. So let me first of all start, and by taking you back a little, I will not come to 2002, but let me talk about from a sleepy town where typically hopes, aspirations, and ambitions are limited to what you can see, because ultimately your depth is as much as the depth of the mind shaft. What prompted you to look at a career in engineering? First of all, whether that was something of a passion, was it something of an influence? And if it was, who influenced you? And what were those 4 years like? Because I'm sure coming from a small town into a big engineering college in itself would have been a major shift in life. So what were those 4 years like?
For me as a person, I always would say that whatever strength I get is from my father, because he believed that being a girl should not deter me from being who I am. So he was my strength. Even today, there are times when I'm challenged by beliefs. I go back to him and he will say, no, don't tell me you're not doing this because you're a girl. So that was something that he always kept reminding us, me and my sister, that we should not ever take a decision in life because we are girls. And so that, I think, even though I came from a sleepy town, it made us look at a bigger picture, look at things differently. And when I joined, actually, I did mechanical engineering. So which was, again, was like totally out of out of the blue, where we were 6 girls in a class of 112 boys. So so that was something, and I was the only girl in my workplace at that time when I joined. I guess those 4 years were a discovery of. I grew up. I mean, my schooling was all in a convent school. So if you know convents, right, they don't believe in girls and boys mixed, right? So I grew up fully in a convent school. When I came to engineering, it was like it's a mixed environment, and we are just a handful of girls in a huge class of boys. So learning that identity helped us, but I would say also lovely classmates who made us feel comfortable doing whatever we did. They were also, I would say, they accepted that girls can do these too, and so they helped us. They helped us with a lot of things in mechanical labs, when we used to struggle and things like that. They used always, like, they never said, oh, you can't do it because, you're not muscular or whatever, but they made us, yeah. So it was, I would say, many beautiful people along the way.
Fabulous. That's so heartening to know, because being an engineer myself, the one thing that I can tell you is that our aspirations when there were girls in class was not to make life easy for them, because we knew they will score better than us. So it was always to try and see how can you put one up on them. But good that you had great classmates, and good you had a enjoyable 4 years. Now let's talk about some of your first times after engineering and starting out on your career. Like you said, you were one of the few people to be challenging the status quo and doing engineering, and especially mechanical engineering at that. Then you told us that you got married and your life took you to foreign shores, whether it is Malaysia, whether it is US, or whether it is Singapore. When was the first time that you set foot on your own independently, without the shadow of your father, to an overseas location? Was it with your husband? Was it on your own? And what was that experience like? What was the first time that you traveled overseas, and what did that experience teach you?
I think coming from subcontinent, many of us will agree that We are always, I won't say now, even now I'm out of my shadow of either my husband or my father, because I think I respect how our system is. I respect our culture. There's nothing wrong in being someone's shadow, is what I believe in. So I would say even today, my husband is there with me, my parents are there, my father is there with me. So there is never going to be Swarna independent, alone doing things. It is about Swarna as a family. And that's why when I introduce, I always say that I'm a mother first. I'm a, that is important. Family is important. And I can never say I'm all alone, but they allowed me to explore. They allowed me to explore. Everywhere I went, of course, I started off my career as an engineer, but when we went to Malaysia, we had work issues, work permit issues. So I couldn't find a job as an engineer. So I took up to teaching. So I went and joined engineering school and I taught there. And as I was teaching, I realized that probably teaching is good, but I need to move on somewhere else where I can explore different and finance was always my interest. So I decided to do my MBA in the US. And so when I did my MBA, I moved to finance. So I joined as a banker in the US for a short while, moved here, and now I'm a financial advisor. So that shift happened because it was, again, finding your passion. If things close at one end, don't stop and say, oh, system is not working in my favor, but just look for other things to explore. So that's how I moved to finance.
Fantastic. And that brings me to the next question, which is, I think, a lot relevant to all of us in today's circumstances. And especially if anything in the last 2 years we have learned, something that I think we all need to do, which is, and the question to you as follows is, there are times in life where, due to circumstances well beyond our control, we are faced with a dilemma of not pursuing what we believe is our passion. Like, for example, when you said that you could not work as an engineer because of work permit issues, not because you were not a good engineer, because the country's laws and regulations prevented you. So whether it is the law or the regulation or personal circumstances, financial circumstances, social circumstances, sometimes we are faced with a brick wall which we cannot break through. What is your advice to try and find a new avenue in those circumstances? And where do you find that inspiration? Like, you decided to become a banker. Where did you find that inspiration to turn it around completely from engineering to finance? So if you can talk to us.
Yeah, that is where I call it as an internal GPS, right? Like how the GPS helps us to navigate the world, telling us directions. And if you look at a typical GPS, doesn't show you one route; it shows you alternate routes, right? So similarly, in our lives also, all of us, we may be good at one thing, but we may have other things that we are good at. I remember in a previous meeting or the earlier meeting, Talha ji saying that, I started off as an accountant, but now I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, right? And I guess we just have to find what is it that we enjoy doing. And all of us will have multifaceted personality. I mean, we all have just not one, we have other things. So we just have to tell ourselves that if this doesn't work, I will take this route. And you need something to guide you, and you have to have the openness to guide you. And as a GPS, some routes are quicker to the destination, some routes take a longer direction. And the challenges come when the socio-economic and whatever, like COVID now is not a straight route. We are trying to navigate at different directions, right? And you started off with the lotus, and I think that is a beautiful personification of life itself. And I think we all should look at the lotus and say that we need to become like a lotus, because if you look at the lotus, it's so beautiful and pure and so many petals. But if you look at where the lotus grows, it's lush. It's the worst of environment one can see. If you really see, it is dirty water, and then the lotus grows. So we need to tell ourselves that irrespective of where our surrounding is, we should never make that an excuse to shine.
Fantastic, fantastic. Wherever our circumstances takes us, we need to keep going. Now the last question, because the timer is already flashing the red card. So let me ask you the last question. And this is, to my mind, something that is of use to all of us. You have now embarked on a journey of helping, giving back. Now this is something that all of us aspire to do. Many of us attempt to do. Most of us fail to do it successfully. What is your motivation to give back and help people the way you're doing? Whether it is through training in public speaking or working with little children or being a part of clubs like ours, where you are sharing your knowledge and your experience that you've gained. What is this motivation? Where does this come from? And what happiness does it give you?
Actually, giving is very selfish, I feel. Okay, because when you give, what you get is multifold. Okay, today, if I have got up at 3 a.m. to sit in this meeting, is because what I'm getting today from this meeting is going to be multifold. Listening to all of you here, the other speakers who are going to come up, the learning is going to be multifold. So always giving. People think that, oh, when I give, I don't have enough. I come from a belief that the world has, if the world has created us, the universe, the God, whoever created us, has created us definitely knowing, giving us what we need. It is for us to find out what we need. And so there is abundance in this world. There is never enough. There is not going to be saying that only these people can get, these people cannot get. It's only our journey to find that abundance. And when you start to give, I have found in my journey that the more I give, I get back multifold. I get back beautiful relationship. For the past 2 years, I would say such a beautiful friendship of Talha ji has been my journey, right? Being in Leaders Worldwide. And now with this club, knowing you, Sudarshan, knowing you, everyone else who is here and learning from all of you is something that when we turn our mindset from what am I going to get to what can I give, what you get is multifold, is what is my belief. And I hope we all can give. And I'm sure we are all giving as well. This is a beautiful club where we give each other a lot of things.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster DTM Swarna Kalyan. Ladies and gentlemen, in the beginning, I told you Swarna means gold. Kalyan, let me tell you, means joyousness, happiness. So it is golden happiness that she brings. And look at the radiant smile on her face. If that doesn't fill your hearts with happiness, hope, and joy, very little can. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Swarna, for waking up at 3 a.m., sharing with us your journey. As the GPS always does, there is a road further ahead. And today she has shown us a part of her journey. And that in itself was so fascinating. I think we can make it into a series of Swarna Kalyan's GPS. Let us make sure that today's journey is enjoyed by all of us. And on this auspicious day of Christmas, I think this is the right gift that we all needed, the gift of joy, the gift of happiness, the gift of hope. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Swarna Kalyan, for that. With that, I now hand the stage back over to our Toastmaster of the day. And I don't think there is any time for questions, but if there is, put it in the chat box and maybe DTM Swarna can answer it one-to-one as the meeting progresses. So in the interest of time, let the TMOD take over and take the meeting forward.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for this opportunity. Yeah.
Pleasure.
Just wow. It was an amazing keynote, and it was actually the personification of two things. Number one, perseverance. Number two, commitment. So thank you very much, Toastmasters, Toastmasters Swarna for those excellent words and your life story. So now, fellow Toastmaster and guests, let's move on to the normal and boring part part of the meeting, which is not boring. I'm just over exaggerating, because we have two seasoned speakers. So number one, we have Toastmaster Usama Ali, who's been all around the world in Toastmaster Pakistan, and he will be evaluated by the president a Toastmaster staff. So please, sir, read out the speech objectives.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Toastmasters, fellow Toastmaster, and in particular Toastmaster Usama Ali. He's attempting project number 1 from leadership development level 3, planning and implementing. The title of his speech, How Planning Leads to Success. The purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for a member to practice developing a plan and bringing that plan to fruition. The purpose of this speech is for a member to share some aspect of the planning and implementing his or her small scale project, and the time limit. There are 2 options for the speakers, either 2 to 3 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes. This all depends on the speaker. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
So with that, over to you, Toastmaster Usama. Best of luck.
You know, we are doing so many things on daily basis in practical and personal lives. Sometimes things get done and sometimes things get delayed due to procrastination. I would like to share a quotation of many top CEOs and executives over there. If you want to make sure something doesn't get done, make it a project. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, I have a question from all of you over there, that what conclusion can you get from this quotation? Any one of you, please. I think no one wants to answer, so I should move on. I would like to take you 6 years back in October 2015, that when I was very fat, with this much amount of fat on my body, and that was stopping me for not being so active and a source of shame for me as well. So I just went on the internet, and as you know, that this world is a global village, and people share their experiences on social media about how they started their fitness journey and what things helped them to get themselves fit. So I came to know that you have to leave all the junk and fast food, and especially these kind of sweet items, which are a craving, especially for me. And most importantly, do running in the morning. So I made a plan that I will follow this for the next 3 months, a rough plan. Do you know what happened after 3 months? I just lost 2 kgs, and I was very sad that I had not made a proper plan, just a rough plan. But I don't lost hope.
And this time, I said that I will learn from my failures and I will do this with the help of a mentor. So I went into my nearby area to search for good gyms. Luckily, I found a very great gym near to my house, and most importantly, a very good mentor over there. And when I discussed my plan with him of losing 15 kgs in the next 3 months, do you know what he said to me? He said, "Man, you want to lose 15 kgs in 3 months. You are saying 3 months, but we will do this in 49 days. And I was like, how is this possible? How can we do this? And upon which he replied, just follow my footsteps for the next 7 weeks and then see the magic. I took a leap of faith and said that, so let's just do this and see what happens. So I was having 3 other stakeholders with me, other than me as well. I was the CEO and the project manager in that. My gym trainer was my mentor, and I was having a MFD, manager food department, who was my mother. And apart from that, CFO, chief financial officer, who was my daddy and who was going to fund all of this. So finally the first week came, and on 1st of February 2016, my fitness journey started. As I was new in the gym, so in first week, I was doing just mixed exercises in the gym so that my body can get used to the gym training. Do you know what was my diet plan during that? I was high on proteins, high on healthy fats, and very low on carbs, and eliminating all the trans and saturated fats. I was having 4 boiled eggs along with 12 soaked almonds and a black coffee in the morning, and then a 250 grams white grilled breast along with 2 brown bread slices in the lunchtime. And before going to gym in the evening, I was having 1 apple. And after coming from the gym, I was having just white fish of 250 grams along with 2 brown bread slices. This was my diet plan for the next 7 weeks, with eliminating all the oily things, eliminating all the sugary things, and all my cravings as well. And after every 2 weeks, we were modifying, because the body gets used to that, and we were not gonna have to done like that. So we were changing the diet plan and the training exercises after every 2 weeks. Finally, the day came, 19th of March 2016, when I went from 84 kgs to 69 kgs. What a moment of joy for me it was. And I was like, yippee, I have achieved the journey of my fitness. And do you know what happened during that journey? My acne from my face got eliminated. I was more active, more happy, and all my clothes were loose to me as well. And most importantly, whenever you are doing exercise, new neurons are formed in your brain, which help you to have new ideas or to think something out of the box. So at the end, I would like to give advice to every one of you as well, that apart from the hustle and bustle of life, try to have at least a 30-minute workout at least 3 days a week, so that you can be fit and healthy as well. Because if there is health, you can do any other thing in life. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Usama, for that motivational speech. Now I would like to call the lead evaluator, Toastmaster Saif,
Thank you very much.
For the evaluation.
Thank you very much, TMOD. And fellow Toastmasters, and if there is a guest, but in particular Toastmaster Usama, where you are. Toastmaster Usama, how planning leads to success? The title itself spoke a lot. Let me ask you a question. He was 84 and he ended up with how many kilo? Fellow Toastmasters, the organization of his speech and the delivery is a powerful delivery with enthusiasm and the confidence and the smile on his face. Usama, capitalize the smile all the time whenever you are speaking and meeting with the people. Wonderful, wonderful. And he gave us one advice, that hustle and bustle of the life just spares only the 30 minutes. Usama, I'm following the 30 minutes, your mantra, and every morning I'm just making the walk for 30 to 45 minutes. So that's the reason I'm fit like you. Usama, you made my life easy. You mentioned about that without mentor, you can't achieve the goal. And the mentors, you are asking to the mentor that 3 months, I'm going to reduce the 15 kg. But your mentor is so confident that you can achieve your goals, not 3 months, only in 49 days, means 7 weeks. And you are successful on that one. Usama, if I'm going to give the same speech, so I just control myself to moving forward and the backward. Better I will use the stage movement with the purpose. So control your movement and be firm whenever you are speaking. I wonder, is there a magnetic force between your hand? All the time is going up and clasping your hand. Just leave them free fall. And believe in me, the more your hands are free, the more gestures come out from your personality. I really enjoy being a lead evaluator, and by this, I'm going to invite Toastmasters DTM Talha bin Hamid for the commendation.
Thank you so much, DTM Saf. Toastmaster Usama, rarely I have seen anyone have so much fun on their journey to fitness. And today I especially noticed 2 things about your excellent speech. The first is that it had a very lively tone and a story-like structure, which always engages the audience. And secondly, it was very well structured behind all the fun and all the lightheartedness that you brought. There was a very good structure to the speech where we understood each and every step of your journey. So that would be my commendation for you. Congratulations on a wonderful speech.
Thank you very much, DTM Talha. Let's move to another commendation from the expert DTM Swarna.
Thank you so much. Usama, beautiful storytelling, of course, but I have difficulty in just giving you 2 commendations. But if I have to really point out and say what you did perfectly well was call to action. You tell your story and you ask us to say, do this because, and you gave us reasons. You said that when we exercise, our new neurons are developed and therefore our thinking capacity becomes good. And for me, when I heard your speech, it was like telling me, health is wealth, Swarna, do it, so that was something that I really enjoyed in your speech. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you very much, DTM Swarna. Let's move for recommendation part of Usama's speech. And the first is in my list. Is Toastmasters Erum is around?
Yes.
Toastmaster Erum for recommendation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DTM Safe. And my speaker today, it's the first time that I'm going to talk about recommendation without bringing commendation. So that's a practice in itself. Thank you, Quantum Lee, for this challenge. You started the speech with a quote. I did not get it. Because in a quote, you need to have a little bit of a different voice. You need to come closer to the screen or probably have a bit of an expression. So if I was supposed to do a quote, I would say, believe you can, and you're halfway there. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, can you tell me what does this quote mean? So, and if you do not get a response within 3 seconds, just repeat it. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. So I guess we are still half sleepy. So I'll go ahead telling. So take it positive, bring it up as if that's really a quote. And because I didn't get it, honestly speaking, you came on the screen, you said something, and by the time my attention came, it was the question. And we could see that the audience was not able to answer. That is one. And number two was your vocal variety when you spoke to your gym trainer, that when he said, you want to lose 15 kgs in 3 months? Yes. 3 months? Yes. We'll do it in 49 days. It's just these two recommendations, and I'm sure you're over the board. Over to you, DTM Saif.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Erum. Is Toastmaster Faisal Murad is around?
Actually, sir, in his place, Toastmaster Anam Kadri will be doing. I changed the agenda. Yeah.
That's great. Toastmaster Anam Kadri, please take over for the recommendation.
Thank you so much. Toastmaster Usama. One thing that I found was that while you started speaking up, there was a little your background was a little distracting for me. Like I could see a lot of things behind, and I couldn't concentrate well on your speech, despite the fact that your content was there and you were speaking really nicely. Your story was very nice, and I tried to engross myself in that, but I got better and better. I'm sorry. I was getting distracted by that brown colored furniture that was at the back. So that was the only thing that was putting me back from getting engrossed in your speech. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anam. Wonderful. And by this, I hand over control back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Saad.
Thank you very much to all of the speech evaluators. And the next speech is by the VPPR of Quantum Leap Toastmaster Club, the dynamic Toastmaster Muniba Rauf, and she will be evaluated by the light-hearted and the kind person, a Toastmaster Lateef Mansoor Ali. So over to you, a Toastmaster Lateef for the speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Saad Shoaib. It's been a long time to be together in a meeting. So either you welcome me or I welcome you. It's the same scenario. But before I introduce my target speaker, Toastmaster Mubina Rauf, may I request you to turn your laptop towards the window so that we can see you more clearly, because it's too dark.
Just a minute. Is it okay now?
This is wonderful. Thank you very much for accepting my request. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Mubina Rauf is embarking on Innovative Planning Level 3. This is an elective using descriptive language. The purpose statement of her project is for the member to practice writing a speech with and emphasizing on adding language to increase interest and impact. There are a few notes for evaluators, which I will be informing you later. Timer, please note, speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Mubina Rauf is a mother, a teacher, and a researcher, passionate about teaching and training young people. Unfortunately, I'm too old for it, but still we will learn with your speech. To help me with evaluation, I have my team of commendation and recommendation. Her speech will be commendation by Toastmaster Erum Rizvi and Toastmaster Saad Shoaib. Recommendations will be by Toastmaster Anam Kadri and President DTM Saif Ali Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Toastmaster Mubina Rauf, speech title, The Bluebird. The Bluebird, Toastmaster Mubina Rauf.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lateef, for the wonderful introduction. Am I audible? Somewhere beyond the sky, over the rainbow, your bluebird of happiness is waiting for you. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, good morning. For hours I tried tying that reef knot that I had to learn for my handicraft class. But I failed miserably and threw away the ropes angrily. My mother, who had been watching me from the kitchen in anticipation, came towards me with that hallmark smile of hers and asked, "What are you trying to do, my dear?" "We are making this large macrame pot holder in our handicraft class, and I have to know how to tie this knot," I cried. "You can't learn such things in a hurry, my dear." She sat down and took the ropes and started off in steps. First, you hold the ropes like this, and then this, and within a few seconds, she had tied the knot effortlessly. "How come you know this so well?" I asked. Again, with that smile, which I can associate to her face only, she said, "I learned it in school when I was a Girl Guide. We had to master all kinds of knots for camping." "You were a Girl Guide?" I was surprised. "Yes." And then she told me, "Most of the girls in my school were guides, and my grandmother encouraged me to be one. So I joined and had wonderful time. One day I came to know that we had to go to this big event, but we had to have our blue dresses ready because we were called the Bluebirds.
So my grandmother stitched me a blue dress, and I went off to attend that amazing event of my life, where we lived in camps and had bonfires. We lived in camps, those bonfires were amazing, and we had such a lot of fun. And you know what? My grandmother was over the moon that her dear granddaughter was experiencing all this. Fellow Toastmasters, I vividly remember that nostalgic, joyous look on my mother's face when she was narrating the details of that event, which had been so special for her. And also her grandmother's excitement about it. How crisp and chirpy her voice was when she was telling that story. I sat there intrigued and fascinated, and a bit embarrassed too. This was me, ignorant and selfish schoolgirl, who has always taken this woman as somebody who had to be there for me, to cook and clean for me, and to be the moral support for me and all my siblings during all the crises of our self-centered lives. But now it was astonishing and at the same time heartening to know that she once had a life of her own. She used to be a bluebird, and her enlightened and progressive grandmother was so proud of her. Wow, just wow. No wonder my mother always wanted all her 4 daughters to have careers just like her sons. Fellow Toastmasters, years have gone by. My mother, like all the mothers of this world, has had a lasting impression on my life. Whenever I feel restless, dejected, and gloomy in the middle of this rat race, I sit on the rocking chair in a dark, dim corner of my house and fly away with my eyes closed to that distant, lush green, tree-lined ground where a sweet and young girl, taller than her age, donned in a blue dress, with her light brown wavy tresses flying in the gentle breeze, and her glinting champagne eyes, is running around with her friends, all bluebirds, tying the knots endlessly, singing and clapping hard to the songs being sung around the bonfire. A soothing tranquility sets in, and as Wordsworth said, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances around the bonfire. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mubia, for a highly engaging speech. So now I would like to call the lead evaluator, Toastmaster Latif, for the evaluation. So over to you, Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Mubia, when you shared the reef knot. It was so close to me that I used my charging wire to make myself a reef knot. It not only reminded me my days of scouting, the moment when you were sharing your emotions of what a mother was enjoying with. What your mother was enjoying with, I felt joyous to be a scout again. Ladies and gentlemen, the most advantage of this reef knot is that it can be easily untied. And secondly, if someone else is able to open it, for sure he won't be able to tie it again. So we know that someone has opened it. There is a secret to it. It is you follow one end till the end of this knot. So it's like this and then followed by this. And you will end up having it like this. It's a check. Toastmaster Mubina, the way the project was, you had to put us into emotions. And the way you describe your mother in her young age, I think had shed tears on everyone. You have taken the audience by far. Not only you achieve, you raise the love of our mother's childhood, what she was used to be and how we used to take her for granted. There are many things which I liked: the clarity, the way you pictured the speech, the creation, the structure, and more important, the emotions you bring into it. Now let's make it to a higher level of this speech. How about if you were standing it? How about if you would have brought that prop on it? How about having more of that feel, that wish you were also there? Would have made me more energetic. One thing which I always have learning still, the dialogues. When you have involved your mother, the way you pictured her, I wish you could have acted a little more in a childish way. With your voice modulation, would have helped it a lot. In the end, I will just say that I'm proud that you have achieved the projects of the goals or objectives of your project. Let me invite for commendation, Area Director Toastmasters Erum Rizvi to give the commendations on Toastmaster Mubina's speech.
Thank you very much, Lead Evaluator. So Toastmaster Mubina has done a wonderful, I would say, a pretty deep kind of a speech. This is why what I loved the most was her description of characters and situations. I love the fact that she had different words, and I'm one of the guilty ones who use a lot of very and repetitive words. So, but she had, the lush green, the champagne eyes, the red dawn dress. I loved that description that she was giving for the things. And while she was doing that, she was using amazing pauses. So she had me hooked up to hear that, what that description was connected to. So I loved the fact that how she was so descriptive while sitting, not using much movement, but she had that in her face and in her voice that I could reach to the characters. And what I loved the fact was the message that she gave. And everything around was towards the equal opportunity towards the girls and boys in her family. I love the fact that that was unexpected. I did not know that. I did not see that coming. But when that came, it was a wonderful message. And I wish to see more of your speeches further. Over to you, Lead Evaluator.
Thank you, Area Director, Toastmaster Erum Rizvi. Now let me invite Toastmaster Saad Shoaib to give his feedback recommendation on Toastmaster Mubina's speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif. So unfortunately, one of my points have actually been stolen by Toastmaster Erum. So that actually emphasizes on how good the and the and the and the how good the and the pauses were throughout the speech. It actually connected the audience and made them wonder, what's about to come next? So that thing is very important in any speech, be it a keynote, prepared speech, table topic, or anything. So you absolutely aced it there, and that enhance your storytelling ability. So thank you for that. So now it's back to you, Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saad. Now let's hear some recommendations, which is also very important for every speaker. For this week, I'll invite Toastmaster Anam Kadri to please share her feedback on.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. Toastmaster Mubina, you were narrating a story, yet I was getting the feeling that this story was like you were reading it out to us. When you are narrating a story, you are actually giving up a piece of something that had happened earlier. So you actually try to enact it when you are giving it in the form of the speech. Like when you say a dialogue, you don't say, how come you know it so well? I asked. It's not like that. You actually enact it. You say, how come you know it so well? You actually put it into actions. And when you put it into actions, every part of your body speaks. Your mouth speaks, your eyes speak, like you have the right eye contact, the right eye expression, that we get the idea, okay, whether this girl is astonished, whether this girl is interrogating, whether she is answering, whether she is getting weak, or whatever expression you want to show. Plus your hands, your neck movement, your body movement, everything speaks whenever you are telling us a story or sharing with us an extract from anywhere. You are actually enacting it in the form of the speech. So your eye contact and the rest of the body movement is very necessary whenever you are telling us something. That was the only recommendation I could give you. Best of luck. Over to you, Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anam. Now, before I invite DTM Seth, I will just say, Toastmaster Mubina, you are very lucky that you have recommendation from the champion speaker, Toastmaster Anam, and now we have President DTM Seth. DTM Seth, please share your recommendation for improvement of Toastmaster Mubina's speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Latif, and in particular, Toastmaster Mubina. There you are. Toastmaster Mubina, my role is to give some recommendations to have a better speakers within you. My first observation is that your gestures are totally missing. Maybe the cause is that you were sitting on the chair. Whenever you are giving any speech, try to make a stage so your gesture can be seen by all. Another thing is, whenever you are giving a speech online, try to make the camera in the level of your eyes. So it's look like that you are making the eye contact with the audience. The thirdly, your face is in the dark place. Now you have options to put the camera in front of your face or sit near to the window, just like I'm sitting near to the window to get the light on my face. Otherwise, your speech was fantastic. Over to the Toastmaster Latif.
Thank you, President DTM Saif. Now I need only 1 minute from Toastmaster Mubina to share her feedback about the evaluation process.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latif. Well, I totally agree with the recommendations. This is my weakness. During the Zoom meetings, I can't stand and talk. And all the evaluators tell me to do that, but I haven't been able to build that thing to stand. And plus, another thing is that my husband is not around, so all that technical support I get from him is absent. So that is also a reason for not standing up and talking to you in a pleasant manner. So I had to sit there. And this is no justification for the recommendation. I must implement them in my speeches. I must. And I will try to do. And thank you so much for the recommendations. Thank you so much. This was, I wrote this out just, I think, in 5 to 6 minutes. Story of my mother. She used to tell it very fondly, on and off, especially when she grew old. And it is very close to my heart. And thank you so much for listening to me and commending my words. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again for entertaining us with your stories. Back to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much to all of the excellent evaluators. So now fellow Toastmaster and guests, what are we missing? It's a quantum leap meeting. We need to make it a bit. We need to make it a bit different than a usual Toastmaster meeting. So for that, since we won't allow Zoom to ruin our plans, now that we have our Geek of the Week back, so I'd like to call Toastmaster Talha for the role. Over to you, Toastmaster Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. And I'll try to take only 3 minutes instead of the allotted 5. So, Mr. Timer, please turn on your red light at 3 minutes. So today, as I was saying earlier before, I was so cruelly cut off by Zoom. I don't know, it must be a conspiracy or something. But this book today, The Uninhabitable Earth by David Wallace Wells, that was one of the life-changing points for myself, where I really started to take the environment and sustainability seriously. And it was also one of the reasons that we are all sitting here today. It was one of the reasons behind the conception of this club. So, of course, it's a book, so it has a lot of material, but it's his story of the future. The author has written it as if they are sitting somewhere in the future, 50 years, 100 years in the future, and they're writing a history of the present times between now and 2050 and 2100. And contrary I'll just share some of the shocking things that the author has asserted. And no, they're not predictions. They are simple projections of where we are going. And the first is that, of course, by 2050, I'm not talking about 2100, 2050, that's barely 29 years from now. Our temperatures will rise to such an extent that during the summer months, the coastal cities like Karachi, where I'm sitting, and many other cities of the world, they will become uninhabitable due to the high temperature and also due to annual flooding. And that is if we achieve the climate objectives set out by the Paris Accord. If we achieve them, not fail to achieve them, which we are doing, by the way, right now. Secondly, our coastlines will become uninhabitable. The Middle East, especially Saudi and the Hijaz area where Muslims used to perform Umrah and Hajj, they will become uninhabitable by 2050 if the temperature continues to rise like this. At least it won't be humanly possible to perform these pilgrimages. And why? One of the reasons is that our cities, which are built out of concrete and asphalt, there are heat traps. Cities are a bad idea. There's no reason that so many people should be concentrated in such a small area. And thanks to the construction by concrete and asphalt, they become heat traps. And in order to conquer that heat, we turn on the air conditioning, we employ climate conditioning. And what does that do? That spews even more heat into the atmosphere. So it's a vicious circle. So cities are a bad idea, and we will have to change our way of life. Any kind of manufacturing, no matter how sustainable it claims to be, it changes our habitat. It changes our earth irreversibly. For example, if we are making paper, do we have a way to actually reverse that paper to its original state, to the trees? No. When we extract metal for making cars, do we have a way to restore those rocks? No. So everybody, please take a look at this book. I believe it is worth buying, worth reading, and at least it will give us a clear idea of the climate catastrophe that we are facing. So with that, I hand over the charge back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sir.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Talha, for that wonderful session. Now Mr. Timer have all the speakers and the evaluators qualified for voting.
Toastmaster Usama, are all the speakers and evaluators qualified?
Yes, Toastmaster Talha, all the speakers and the evaluators are qualified for the voting.
Okay, great. I'm floating the polls, so please continue with them.
Meanwhile, due to short of time, Toastmaster Saad, we have to proceed on further. Voting can go on in that parallel.
Perfect. We can do that. Thank you very much. And now, now is the time to be overjoyed by a brilliant table topic session, and to go on with it, we have the area director, Toastmaster Erum Rizvi. So over to you, Toastmaster Erum.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And here we are for the table topic session. The best thing about being a table topics master is you are 100% sure that you would not be called upon. So now bringing up the topics, and today we are doing something different. So seeing how scientific quantum leap is, I'm going to give you one word related to technology and one word related to a relationship. You have to mix them, try to be as crazy, scientific, funny, unrealistic as you can be, but it completely depends if your spouse is around or not. So you have a free hand for that. I'm going to call someone who is a bit experienced so that we can get an idea of how this would go. So is Toastmaster Anam Kadri here?
Yes,
All right. Lovely to see you today after so long. The Toastmaster Anam Kadri, you all know the rules. You have to speak for minimum 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Try to be as wacky as you can with this. So Toastmaster Anam, the 2 words for you is artificial intelligence and children. Let's say artificial intelligence and your children. Over to you, Toastmaster Anam.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Erum. Well, artificial intelligence and children go parallel to each other. For me, yes. Because whenever I try, in case of my children, whenever I try to think about something to actually put them away from anything wrong, they come up with something new that is nowhere near in my mind. For example, the other day I was asking them to get away from the digital, these gadgets and all that, and to at least read out a book or something to keep themselves away from a screen for some time. But what they came up with was, Mama, it's our homework time. We need to do homework. What we will say to our teachers then? And I was left spellbound because I cannot say anything to that. After all, yes, it is homework. It was homework time, and students and children are supposed to do that even. So, you know, these artificial intelligence, we can say that our children in this growing era are turning into artificial intelligence, and there would be a time when we will go obsolete with our sticks in our hands, and we will be looking forward for them for any kind of information, for any kind of excuses we need to make, not going anywhere in any gathering. We would be looking up to them, that those would be our little Googles running around in our homes. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster Erum.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anam, running around in the loops. So now I'm sure now you have got an idea that how this would work today. So I have my next topic for, I believe it is a guest. Is that guest Mudassir? Is he here?
Yeah.
Are you guest or are you a Toastmaster?
I am a Toastmaster.
All right, great. Toastmaster Mudassir, you look like you're married. So the topic for you is Google Maps, my wife. Google Maps and my wife. Over to you.
Thank you very much, topic master. Google Maps and my wife. So we had this kind of an inside joke in our family that my wife is kind of a Nokia Maps basically. She's an old school map, which only thinks of things she has in her mind, and she can only rely on those. For example, one time we were going to her Khala's village, and I told her that I don't know the way, so you have to tell me. So she was leading us to her Khala's village, and she said that there used to be a charpai outside the street, and from there we had to go. So we were going and going and going, and we could not find that like charpai next to the street, and we crossed that bridge. And when we crossed that bridge, where was the charpai? And he said it was somewhere there. So we went back and we saw that charpai was sitting against the wall other way around. So she is the Nokia Maps for us. She is old school. She does not know what is new, how to how to progress with the technology or how to be innovative. She knows what is there and she will always tell you what is there. She will tell you to go straight line even if there are no paths. So my wife is Nokia Maps for me, and I am glad that she's a Nokia Map because then I have to be always careful and not rely on her, which is something that I think I should also not do because maps and my wife do not go well. That's all from my side.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mudassar. And we can notice that he's been looking towards his left side because he's remembering the real incidents. So that's history. And I hope you don't become a history and we see you again in these meetings. My topic is for Zahra Ibrahim. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Am I
And are
audible
you a
and visible?
Toastmaster?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm from DAV IBHM. Yes.
Hello, Toastmaster Zahra. So
Yes.
you don't look like you're married. So there is
No,
a topic for you.
not yet.
There's a topic for you. You can combine it or use one stance. So it's social networking. So Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and you. Social networking and you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Table Topic Master, Ms. Erum, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. So the topic which is given to me is social networking and me. So when I entered university back in 2017, I was that one student who did not even have Facebook, not Instagram, no Snapchat, and not even on Twitter. And the question which used to be asked from me, what do you even do at your home? Like how you get yourself busy and what's your routine? What it be like it's so boring. And one thing which, which I kept on asking myself, is it true? Like I have so much to do. In fact, I'm not on Facebook, not on Snapchat, not on Instagram, but still I myself is a very busy person. Then one fine day, I thought just to make a Facebook account. So I made a Facebook account. I added several few friends from school, from my college, and even from my university. And then Snapchat. So the Snapchat was that thing which I used to, spend a lot of time. Maybe when I used to post something, the other day when people get to know that Zahra has made a Facebook account plus Snapchat as well, and she's posting as well. So they came up to me and said, yeah, we saw your story. It was you're good at it. Like you're posting some good stuff. And then I used to write as well. So I thought to be productive. And then what I did, I made an Instagram account, which I made public. And what I did, I used to write stories, write blogs, and even I incorporated few things in a way which, helped me out for personal growth and even, to be productive. So one thing which came in my mind as well, which there are three things like process, implement and execute, right? So what I do is I as a person uh, try to be productive and not waste my time on this, but being productive as well at the same time, and you making use of it in a much more sophisticated manner. And that's all from my side. I hope I'm not over time. Thank you very much.
Toastmaster Zahra. She just made all of us feel old who are not on these platforms. Looks like a lot of generation gap. So my last topic is for Toastmaster Samra. Toastmaster Samra, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
So my little one also wants to participate in the speech. So Toastmaster Samra, the topic, is it possible that we can see you?
No, not
All
right
right,
now.
all right. All right, so the topic for you is machine learning and your parents. machine learning, and your parents. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Machine learning and my parents. I don't know what to say about it. Can you please change the topic?
So you could do WhatsApp and your parents. WhatsApp and your parents. Yeah.
Well, I do use WhatsApp most of the time. I'm not that active on other social media accounts like Facebook, Insta, or anywhere. But most of the time I am on WhatsApp, and I guess so I have become so dependent on WhatsApp for everything. And yeah, most of my time I spend on WhatsApp. Well, about my parents, about my mother, she's really a very lovely woman. She's very innocent. She's very easygoing with her kids, and whatever we do, we can easily manipulate her. We can easily, like, you not need to manipulate her, but she does not say anything to us, like to me, because she knows that I am responsible, and if I am spending time on WhatsApp, I might be doing something productive. So I guess so it's enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Samra. And I'm sorry I didn't check who was around you and gave you a bombastic topic. So now I would like to check with the timer that are everybody qualified so we can go towards voting.
Yes, Madam Table Topics Master, everyone is qualified and we can go for the voting. Due to short of time, we can have voting in parallel and we can move on.
Yes, so please submit your votes for the best table topic speaker, the one who was wackiest, craziest, and made you laugh. And I'm so glad that I don't have much time, because I had very crazy topics and we would have heard some real his stories from even DTM Saif and DTM Talha. But next time, while I'm being a Toastmaster, we can do to a table topics master, we can do that. So over to you, TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Erum, for those marvelous topics, quite innovative as well. So now we'll move on to the most important part of the meeting, which is the general evaluation session. And to run it, we have the four-time DTM, a Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. So over to you, District Director, VP Education, President, Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. And do you know what would be a good idea? If all of you stop mentioning the designations of everyone when you're calling them. So anyhow, thank you so much. So today it is my job to evaluate the meeting in journal. And I will start by saying that continuously we are seeing that in the initial segments of the meeting, we lose some time and then we gain it back up during the rest of the meeting. So my request, especially to our Honorable President and everyone else, would be that if you do want to discuss something as part of the business session or anything, please let me know in advance so that we can build that into the agenda. So I'm glad to say that we are never ever late, because we are taking more time than required. We are late, we usually get late because we are adding stuff to the agenda. So that was my first bit of feedback about the meeting. But even then, we are not as much behind time as we could have been. So it's all good. And I will now request our first meeting evaluator, who is Toastmaster Anam Kadri, as language evaluator, to please present your report.
Thank you so much, DTM Talha. Being the language evaluator, I'm going to first highlight the good phrases and idioms that were used and sentences that were used throughout the meeting. The meeting started off with a very nice example of how the lotus plant is multi-layered and how it opens up, and as it opens up, it adds to the beauty of that lotus plant. That was a very refreshing start in the beginning. Then there was an example of how when you are fit and healthy, it gives rise to new neurons, which gives rise to better ideas. This was another good concept and very refreshing concept, something motivating to move on to. Then there were the words used, crisp and chirpy voice and nostalgically joyous. I love these phrases and I would prefer using it in the next meetings as well. Now, moving on to something that I found a little erroneous. Instead of smush for dirty, you could use slush. Then I don't lose hope. For that, you could have used an I didn't lose hope. Follow my footsteps. Instead of that, you could have used follow my advice, because the person that was being spoken about here wasn't actually enacting it. He was just giving an advice on how to follow it and then move on with the rest of the process. Then had such a lot of fun. Instead of that, you could have used for had lots of fun or loads of fun. Last but not the least, I would say that it is highly illegal to mention boiled eggs, hot tea, and bread, brown bread and everything, especially when it's breakfast time in here and we didn't have the time to have breakfast yet. So thank you so much for such a great meeting and for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Talha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Erum, for that wonderful grammarian report. And yes, everybody these days seems to be on a mission to make us hungry. No matter which Toastmasters meeting you go to, people are always mentioning delectable delicacies. I don't know why. It's a conspiracy. So we now move on to our second facilitator, our timer, who's also a speaker, so a multitasker, Toastmaster Usama. Toastmaster Usama, do you have a report or? Yeah.
Thank you so much, DTM Talha, for giving the stage. Well, I don't have a certain report as well. All the speakers are qualified, but I would like to add few things. From the past few meetings, I am seeing, not as a timer, but as a keen observer, that we are not managing the things well. And we used to get late by 15 minutes every meeting. So we have to be careful about that in the next coming meetings and have to time the things well so that we can have great meetings from the next time. I hope we will implement, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Usama. And yes, a part of that is, I will slightly disagree with you. We're not mismanaging things. We're just not putting certain things properly in the agenda. So I will be more careful about giving proper allowance for timing of certain things in the agenda so that, we do not deviate from the agenda. So yes, you're right. And we will work towards it. Now, about the speeches and the evaluations, first of all, absolutely fantastic speeches by both our speakers. And before that, absolutely fantastic keynote. I mean, it was kind of transformational seeing the interview. I believe it's a very good format that can also be considered for as a keynote. And the interplay between the interviewer and the interviewee and the thoughts that were shared, especially with respect to the day that we have today. We are in a festive and celebrative mood. So it was very, very apt. And let me point out something, that our keynote speaker today, DTM Swarna, she belongs to India, but she's a CGD from Singapore. She was part of an American club where she met me. And now, thanks to that, she has also become a member of a club that is based from Pakistan. So you cannot get much more global than that. And I believe she is the ideal person to share her experiences about operating in diverse environments. So really, really inspirational. Of course, Toastmaster Usama, you were absolutely fantastic. As I said earlier, you made weight loss sound like so much fun. And this is the first time I've seen that. Toastmaster Mubina, you are, as always, very, very inspirational, very illustrative, and very emotional. And your speech title was beautiful. And we can all learn from that, that the speech title, the Bluebird of Happiness, you can start communicating even before you start the speech. Both our lead evaluators did a fantastic job. And I know we are used to saying that, but today, given the quality of the speeches, I believe the quality of the feedback and the quality of the round robin evaluators more than lived up to it. And of course, then the table topic session, highly creative, Toastmaster Erum Rizvi. At one point I wished, and you teased us, you teased myself and DT and Saif that you could have called us, but you chose not to. That's so unfair, because we were kind of hoping that you would call us. The table topics were so fantastic. And this is precisely the kind of table topics that we need at Quantum Leap. So thank you so much, everyone. And I believe, thank you, our guests also. It was an absolutely fantastic meeting in all respects, especially in the quality of the content. And yes, of course, time management needs to improve a little bit, and the agenda needs to be more accommodating of what will actually happen. And for that, and that's a message to everyone, that if you do want to have something added to the agenda, please inform to me in advance so that we can make an allowance for it. And but other than that, we are still pretty much on time. We started bang on time, and for that I'm absolutely thankful for DTM Saif that he insists that we start on time no matter what, and that's what actually keeps things on track. So with that, I hand over the charge back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Talha, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests. Before I leave the stage, we should do one thing. We should actually say thank you to one thing, COVID-19, because in spite of all the hardship, chaos, and everything it's caused, it has actually opened up new avenues for us to interact with the worldwide audience, because I don't think if that wouldn't have happened, we would not have formed this amazing club, and that was the main idea behind the theme of the meeting today, the global village. So please vote for the best victory. The Toastmaster of the day myself, the a table topic master, a Toastmaster Erum Rizvi, and the general evaluator, Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. So with that, I'd like to hand back charge to the president, Toastmaster Saif Ali Sheikh. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Wonderful global village. Yes, we are a part of the global village. Well, Toastmaster, do you agree that we had another wonderful meeting by the Toastmaster of the day? All the credit goes to Saad Sheikh. Give big round of applause to him. Mr. Vote Counter, do we have the announcement for the best speaker, best table topic speakers, evaluators, and the best big three?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do. We do. So our best speaker was a very close contest because both the speakers were absolutely fantastic. But Toastmaster Mubina Rauf wins it by a narrow margin. So congratulations, Toastmaster Mubina. Best table topics goes to Toastmaster Adam Khatri, and if anybody wants its evidence, I'm happy to submit it. Please bear in mind that as a vote counter, and as the meeting Zoom host, I cannot vote. So then we had the best lead evaluator, which goes to Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. Congratulations. And the best big three by a landslide goes to Toastmaster Erum. Congratulations. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vote Counter. Let's have some comments from our guest. Who is there? Toastmaster Samra, 30 seconds for you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's my second time that I am attending this meeting. Last time I really joined that meeting very late, but today I was also sleeping. I didn't know that today is a meeting, but I got up at 10 o'clock and I thought just see what they are doing and then I will sleep. And when I joined that meeting and the energy of you all was so wholesome that it kept me awake, and now it's 11 a.m. So overall, the energy, the passion, and the way you people were in conducting that meeting was so really great that even a person like me who is waking up late and still thinking of going to sleep back is still now in the meeting. So you can imagine how this meeting was great for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Samra. You get the charge from Toastmaster Erum. Let's move to Toastmaster Zahra.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much for giving me the chance. And it was a very energetic, and there was very brilliant speakers, and how there was like a smooth transition from each and every segment. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and how the table topic master has presented the topics in a very it was wonderful. Like, it was very creative, and I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. And it's always very nice to be here and join. So thank you very much for giving me the chance. And I got ready and I also get ready for table topics because I wanted to speak. So thank you very much for giving me the chance.
Thank you very much. Most welcome, Zahra. Come again. Toastmaster Anam Kadri. Again, you have 30 seconds.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Coming here was a really joyous moment for me, because initially I was a bit jittery. You have a little different format from the usual Toastmasters meeting we have. So, and I was given the recommendation in the first moment only. I didn't know it earlier that I was given this, but overall, despite doing the roles and despite coming in for the first time and getting myself used to the format first, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way it flowed and how you all were working so hard, and I learned a lot. That was the main part. I learned a lot coming in today. Thank you so much for having me here. Over to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anand. Do you know what is the charger we have, who is giving the energy to all of us? Is a Toastmaster Talha. Let's move to Toastmaster Mudassir.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning to you all. Quarterly meetings are always great, and I am a nerd at reading from heart, and it's very hard to find geeks and nerds in Pakistan because they are so few, and even if they are, it's very difficult to connect with them because they are shy just like me. So I have always wanted to be a part of Quantum League, and the only thing between the meeting and my participation was my extended sleep on weekends. But I'm committed to defeat my sleeping habits so that I would come and be part of your meetings. I was awake from 6 o'clock so that I would not miss this meeting. And I'm glad that I did not miss this meeting. The tabletop session was awesome. Innovative idea given by Toastmaster Erum was amazing and energizing for my event. Let's hope my family does not sack away all that energy from me in this weekend. Thank you very much. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mudassir. So now have a good time. Enjoy the time, season greeting, and we'll see you the next year, inshallah, in the second week. Yes, Toastmaster Talha. DTM Talha. DTM Talha.
Yeah,
you want to say
sorry.
something?
Yeah, Mr. President, once again, for the third time, as soon as I wanted to say something, I was cut off by electricity. So I will just need your permission for one thing. I believe that we have such excellent round robin evaluators. From the next meeting onward, can we also include a voting for them? Because they contribute so significantly and all within 1 minute. What do you say about that?
I think there is no harm to include them.
Okay, great. So since then from next meeting, we will inshallah start this, and I believe this will add even more motivation and positivity and energy. And Toastmaster Erum, please explain, how can you tell if someone is married or not? And what's that supposed to mean? just by looking at someone.
Come to Pakistan, you can say when you look at their face, there is something there.
There is something is spark on the faces.
Nurani, you know,
Nurani, it's a Nurani, okay. The spark is there. Okay. By having said this one, I think it's a time to, I started with when the temperature was 7. Now the temperature is 14. It's getting better now. So by this, goodbye, have a nice time, and meeting is adjourned.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much. And season's greeting to everyone, and happy Jinnah Day to everyone, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a very, very nice weekend, everyone. Thank you so much.
And have a great year ahead. I think we'll have New Year.
Toastmaster Mudassir, we are looking forward to your membership.
Inshallah, I'm definitely gonna have a membership. I'll give more energetic. I can become a part of your meeting from next meeting as well. So I'm available if you want to go and think. Okay, take care.
If you did not become a member, we'll have a separate link for him just for his Google Maps invite.
Okay.
Oh yes. And yes, we will make it go viral. Yes, of course. So yeah, you get the message.
Okay, meeting is adjourned officially, but we can continue.